Every NHL draft has its late risers, and Beckett Sennecke may be the most obvious late riser in the 2024 NHL Draft. There's a lot of reasons why a player can rise in the draft rankings. Maybe they had a strong second half. Maybe they played well in the Under-18 World Championships. Or maybe scouts just seemingly come to a late consensus that a guy is really good. For Beckett Sennecke, it's mostly the playoffs, but also a little bit the second half as well. He came on strong in the second half and just carried over that new level of play to an incredibly strong OHL playoff run with the Oshawa Generals. Now, it's not that Sennecke wasn't an intriguing prospect in the first half of the season. He was. Flashed high-end puck skills, strong playmaking ability. He got a lot bigger, which I'll get into in a few minutes, but the production just wasn't really there. He was looking more like a late first-round pick than somebody who very well could end up be taken in the lottery. One theory, and this is one I think a lot of scouts very much espouse now, is that Sennecke was getting used to his new frame. This is a guy who 2 seasons ago was 5'10". He was more of a chippy energy forward. Well, over the course of last summer heading into this season, he jumped all the way up to 6'2", 6'3". We'll see what he ends up clocking in at the combine. But there seemed to be a little bit of learning how to play with this new, larger body. It takes some time to get used to that big of a growth spurt. But sometime around the end of February, it really seemed to start to click for Beckett Sennecke. He finished the regular season with 22 points in his final 12 games. And then in the playoffs, that's really when he started to turn heads. He was one of the most impactful forwards in the OHL playoffs for a Generals team that probably went further than most people expected. He scored 22 more points in 16 games, and he passed the eye test with flying colors. He was just making plays all the time. Now, unfortunately, injury did end his breakout postseason a bit prematurely. He ended up missing the entire OHL final against the London Knights, but the impression had already been made. Sennecke now had a lot more believers than he did a few months ago. And because of that, now it looks like he just may end up a top 10 pick at the 2024 NHL Draft. So let's get into his strengths. What do scouts like the most about Beckett Sennecke? His puck skills. He's a high-end playmaker on the wing. He's got soft hands. He's got the vision to take full advantage of those soft hands. He's just a pure playmaker. He's got the talent to dangle through opposing defenses and the hockey sense to finish those plays off, usually with some gorgeous pass that sets up a teammate for a goal. His growth spurt also has done a lot for his draft stock, to be sure. And not just because he's a little bit taller. First off, he's a lot taller. But it's also what it's done to his overall package. His skating now has more burst. The shot has more velocity. And in theory, as he bulks up, he now has the potential to be a real force along the boards and in puck battles. And one of the really exciting parts about Beckett Sennecke's upside, before his growth spurt, as I mentioned, he was viewed more as a demon forechecker, an energy type guy with a relentless attacking mindset. Now, this season, he hasn't really brought that. He's been more focused on playmaking and skill, which makes sense. Now he has the frame that he can take full advantage of all those skills that he's always had. But the interesting possibility is, what if that attacking mindset comes back in addition to the gains he's made in playmaking and skill level? And he's doing it now in a 6'2", 6'3" body. If that happens, we're talking about an all-around demon of a winger at the NHL level. The weaknesses? Well, the big one is that he really wasn't dominant all season. The most optimistic projections for his upside, they're really based on the assumption that the strong finish of the regular season and his very strong playoff performance, that is the real Beckett Sennecke. It might not be. There's always the chance that maybe that was just a hot streak and we're all overvaluing Sennecke because we think that's him. And in reality, he's more the around a point per game guy he was over the entirety of the season than the potential star he looked like at the end of the season. Also, Sennecke has a lot of work to do to fully take advantage of his new body type. He needs to get a lot stronger. He's skinny. He needs to bulk up. He needs more strength. If he puts on that strength and uses it to its full advantage, it speaks to his exciting upside. But if he either struggles to put on weight or putting on weight actually slows him down, suddenly we're talking about an entirely different prospect. Also, the defensive zone play, even though he's just a winger, it's very much a work in progress. He's prone to coverage mistakes. He can lose his man at times. He's going to need to do a lot of work to clean up the details of his game. And there also are some reasons to be a little bit skeptical of his offensive upside. His shot can look good. It's got velocity. It has the potential to be a plus shot. but he misses the net a lot. And when Sennecke doesn't have the puck in the offensive zone, there's not a lot of movement to his game. And you wonder if he truly does have goal-scoring instincts or if he's going to be not just a pure playmaker, but only a playmaker at the pro level. In the end, Beckett Sennecke's skills are undeniable. The talent is there. He showed the talent even before he had the breakout final month of the regular season into the playoffs. It's always been there. The question is whether that guy is the real Beckett Sennecke. If that guy's real, he deserves to be a top 10 pick. For me, I tend to be a little bit skeptical of the late risers. I really do like the talent, but I do wonder if that truly is the real Beckett Sennecke. I'm not sure if I personally would bet a top 10 pick on it, but going from 11 to 15, he'd be a perfectly fine selection for me.
We all silly like the mayor.